Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst toy repairs on Earth is the most powerful hero ever, toy-polloi. Parental guidance. This video contains scenes of Lego destruction.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and today we are heading back into the dungeons because we're going to be working on another of LJN's Advanced Dungeons & Dragons figures, and that is Ringlerun. Now if you collect the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons line, you'll know that some figures are very easy to find, and as you can see here, Ringlerun is one of those. He is probably the most easy of the Series 1 figures to pick up, but often when you find him, he won't have his weapon, and as you can see here, this is my collection of Ringleruns, and so far I only have one of his weapon. So today I'm going to show you how to easily remake his weapon, and we can complete the rest of these figures. Let's get on with the project. So here we go. Here is Ringlerun, or one of my Ringleruns from my collection. As you can see, he should come with this rather simple looking staff, which is basically a stick with a little bit of detail on the top and a little bit of detail on the bottom. So it's going to be a relatively easy weapon to reconstruct. And you'll have seen recently that I've shown you how to remake weapons for other LJN figures. In fact, here is my LJN Indiana Jones figure. And on this, I've made his machete. I also made his bag and his whip, and we used a 3D print to replace his missing hat. So you can see you can make some really nice looking things that look just like the original weapons, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. So we need to break this down into its component parts. The main part of this weapon is going to be a stick, and I've already measured this, so I know that this is a 3mm diameter rod. So I've ordered myself some styrene rod, which is 3mm in diameter. We also need to add this little detail at the bottom, and to do that I'm going to use some 4mm diameter rod, which we'll drill some holes into. We can also use some other bits of styrene to make this little sort of detail at the top, and then for this very top piece, which is a little ball, we will use a piece of Lego. So let's get all of those bits together and we'll start constructing. We'll start with the simplest part of this weapon, which is the main pole. I've measured this and it is a 3mm diameter rod. So what I've done is I've just gone onto eBay and I've ordered myself some of this, which is a styrene rod, and this is 3mm in diameter. So the first thing we need to do is cut some lengths of that. I have 6 of these Ringleruns, so I'm actually going to be making 6 of these staffs. It's sometimes easier just to make lots in one go, and certainly for this thing it's going to be very easy to make all of them. So let's measure the length of this and we'll cut 6 lengths of this rod, and then we can start cutting and just sort of shaping the ends. You can see the end of this is a little bit rounded, so we do a little bit of filing just to shape the end, and I'm not going to cut it the full length. I want to cut it to about halfway into that sort of ball at the end, so that there's somewhere to stick the ball when we come onto that bit. So let's measure the length of this. I've got a ruler here and we can just place that on there, and I'm going to say that's pretty much exactly 11 centimeters. So let's cut 6 lengths of this rod to 11 centimeters, and then we can start adding some of the details. The next part of this weapon is this little raised section that you can just see around the bottom there, and that should be fairly easy to add as well. What I've got is some 4mm diameter styrene rod, which is slightly bigger than the 3mm diameter rod that we've used for the main part. And what I'm going to do is drill a hole into the bottom of this to make a 3mm diameter hole in it, and then we'll end up with a little bit of a tube that we can thread over the top of the 3mm rod. So how do we go about drilling the hole? Well, we do it in 2 stages. In my little handy drill here, I have a 2mm drill bit, so I will drill in a little way into that, and then in my pin vise I have a 3mm diameter drill bit, and we'll drill the rest of that out, and then we can just cut off some little sections of this. It looks like this sort of raised section is only 2 or 3mm long. Let me just measure that. I'm going to say that is 3mm long. So I'll do this in stages. I'll sort of drill a bit, cut a little piece off, and we'll put it onto one of these rods and see what it looks like. And then if it works, we'll cut and drill all of the other pieces. So let's drill some holes into the end of this and see if we can make a little ring that will fit over that main post. So I'll start with the 2mm drill bit and move on up to the 3mm. So there you go, that is a hole drilled into the end. You can see there that I now have a 3mm diameter hole drilled into this 4mm diameter rod, making us a tiny little tube, which should, if I grab one of these poles here, fit over that pretty much exactly, which it does. So let's cut off a section of that. I've measured the depth of that, so that is 3mm. I've just marked that on there. We'll cut off a section and see if it fits on. If it does, then I need to make 5 more of these for all the other weapons that we're making. So let's get cutting. There we go. So let's pop that on the end. Should be a fairly snug fit. That looks really good. You can see there we've got the same sort of look. If I bring in the original one and hold them both up, that has worked really well. Once I've got them all cut and put in place, I will put a bit of plastic wad on those just to hold them on more firmly, but that is going to work. So let's get the other 5 of these made. Those are all now done, so that's all plastic wadded in place. And I did add one extra little bit of that tubing there just at the top, because I noticed on the original one, again, there is just a little rim there. So I've measured carefully how far up the pole that needed to go. So it's about 10 centimeters. So I measured 10 centimeters, marked it with a pencil, and I've cut just a very thin 1mm strip of that styrene rod there, and also plastic wadded that in place. So we've now got lots of these all ready to go. So the next piece that we need to make is the sort of little bladed piece at the top. So that's 4 little sort of fins that are sticking out on either side, and I'm going to make that out of some 1mm styrene sheet, but we need to know how big that is. So let's do a quick measurement, and it looks like that is about 6mm long by it's going to be like maybe 1.5mm. So what I've done is I've already marked that up onto a sheet of 1mm styrene, and I'm just going to cut loads and loads of pieces that are 6mm by 2mm. We'll plastic weld those in place, and then we can shape them. I think trying to shape them before we plastic weld them on is just going to be too hard. So let's get cutting all of these pieces out and then plastic welding them on, and we'll see what it looks like. These have all had time to set now, and you can see we've just got 4 pieces of styrene stuck on, and I think it's going to work really nicely. In fact, I've just done a quick test taking one of them and shaping it, and you can see I've ended up with something that does look remarkably like the original. So all we're going to do is trim all of these down in exactly the same way. I've got some plastic nippers here, which I'm going to trim off most of it and sort of give it a slightly curved shape. Then I have a file here, and I will file the rest of it down. It didn't actually take that long to do this one, so I've got another 5 to do, so possibly 5-10 minutes, and I will have all of these shaped, and then we can sort out putting the ball piece on the top. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this is looking. To go from something that looks like that to this is a pretty easy job, and as you can see, we are actually starting to get somewhere. After a small amount of shaping, you see I've now got a shape that looks really very close to the original. I'm very happy with how that is looking, but we are still missing the ball on the top. And I was thinking I could just make some little balls out of milliput and cast them and put those on. That would work. Or I could find a bead that was a similar size. That would work as well. But then, of course, I went straight to my box of Lego because I knew I had these things, which are axle pins, but with a ball, like a toe ball on the top of them. I will put the name and number of the piece at the bottom of the screen, and I'm going to be using those. I will need to trim off the ball part, and then we need to drill into it with a 3mm hole. So I'll probably grip those in a pair of pliers, start with a smaller drill bit and work up to a 3mm drill bit, and then that, as you can see, is going to be a very good match for the ball that's on top of the staff there. So let's chop off a load of these and drill some holes in, and then we'll start fitting them just with a little bit of glue, and then we can start the job of painting them. And there we go. I now have 6 of these ready for painting, and I think they are looking really rather nice. You can see there, if I hold those together, you can see the original with my handmade one. It's a pretty close match, but obviously it doesn't look the right color. So that's the next stage of this project. I'm going to take these out into my garage and give them a coat of a plastic primer spray, and it will turn them gray. And then once they're all gray, we can then start painting them the proper colors. But it's good to put a plastic primer on first. It just gives something for the paint to actually sort of grip onto. And we've got 2 different types of plastic here. We've got the styrene and we've got the Lego. I may also give these a quick rub down with some 1000 grit sandpaper just to rough up the surface, just to make sure the paint really does stick to it. But yeah, let's get that paint put on, and then we can start actually painting the colors on, and it will end up looking like this. Now that these have the primer on, we can start sorting out the colour. So I'm going to start with the sort of reddy brown colour of the main part of the staff. And for that, I'm using this Meng colour, which is called red brown. The number on that one is MC237, and that's quite close, but to that I've added a little bit of this red, which is a game colour called Bloody Red 72.010. That has given it that sort of slight red tinge that I need, but it's still a bit bright, so I've just added a very tiny amount of black, and I've got a colour here that really does match very nicely. It's as close as I think I'm going to get. If I hold those 2 up, you can see that that is a really good match. So I'm just going to paint all of the sort of brown parts of these staffs. I will do it a couple of times because I think they need a couple of coats. Once that's all dry, we can then sort out the orangey sort of yellow that we've got at the top. But that colour I'm very happy with. So let's get all of these bits painted up and let everything dry. We now come on to the sort of golden top section, and for that I'm mixing 2 colours together. I have this game colour which is called Gold Yellow 72.007, which is nice, but it's a bit yellow. You can see I've just painted it neat onto this one, so it's not quite the right shade. You can see there's a little bit more sort of orange going on there. So to that I've just mixed again some of the Bloody Red, so that's another game colour 72.010, just to make it a little bit more orange. And you can see that the two there look very close indeed. It's going to need 2 coats again, but the actual sort of tone of that orange is looking really good. So again, I've got to do all 6 of them, so I'm going to paint the orange onto that top bit, let it dry, I'll do a second coat onto it, and then once all of that's done, we can apply a clear top coat to protect everything. All of the paints I'm using are matte paints, but we really want a sort of slightly shiny finish like you can see on this original one. So I will spray onto that a clear semi-gloss spray paint, a Mr. Hobby semi-gloss top coat, and that will make everything look shiny. But before we do that, let's get all of this orange painted. It's now a day later, as I wanted to let all of the paint dry, and here is the finished thing. As you can see, it is looking really rather nice. All of them have a little bit of variation to them, but I'm very happy with the overall effect. This is the original one here, and you can see the paint has dried a little bit darker than that original colour, but I'm still pretty happy with how they are looking. So let's get these fitted onto all of my Ringlerun figures, and we'll see how they look. And here we go. Here are the finished figures with all of their weapons in place. It really does make a massive difference to how they look. It's certainly not the most complicated of weapons to make, but it's one that is always missing. I've been collecting Dungeons and Dragons figures since the early 90s, and I almost never see weapons for them, and especially this guy. He's a very common figure, but he is always missing that staff. So it's an ideal weapon to have a go at making, and even though it isn't that complicated in its shape, there's still a lot of sort of skills and modelling required, and as you can see, you can end up with something that really does look rather nice. Now, as well as making the staff for this figure, you can see I have made a new little mini diorama background for it, and if you'd like to see how that was created, then head on over to my second channel, toy-polloi 2, where I have a video all about making the backgrounds for this little setup, so go and check those out. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video, and if you've really enjoyed it and want to help me out here at toy-polloi, then why not think about becoming a patron of the channel. You get early access to all of my restoration videos, plus access to an exclusive video series called On the Cutting Mat, so have a think about that, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos.